Christmas. There's definitely a reaction there. But what does it mean? Why do people love this film so much? It doesn't even make sense. Logically, it shouldn't work. Is it a Christmas film? Is it a Halloween film? Should we shoot this in November? If only there was somebody I could ask who's a big fan. Somebody who... Hello. Hey, Claire. Claire. Claire!
Hey, what the fuck? What?
Claire. I need to ask you something important.
What?
It's for a new review that I got upcoming, and I need your honest-to-God opinion. Why do people love this movie so much?
You gotta be kidding me, right?
I don't know why people love it so much. Is it a Christmas film? Is it a Halloween film? What's the appeal?
It's both.
It's both.
Yeah.
So it's November.
No, I mean, you can watch it whenever you like.
I still don't understand it, though. You think you can explain it to me?
Come on, let's go do this.
All right. Let's see. I'll meet you at the couch.
All right.
I'll meet you at the couch. Okay. Happy Halloween, folks.
Happy Halloween.
Or should it be Merry Christmas?
Halloween first, then Christmas.
Halloween first, then Christmas. Okay. And thank you for joining us for our little review of a little film called The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I've been waiting for ages to do this one.
I know you have, which is why I brought you here. So, let's talk about it, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so a little backstory time. Let's start on a young little boy named Tim Burton. I'm pretty sure you know him, right?
Everybody knows him.
Everybody knows the great, powerful Tim. So, tell me again, where was Tim born out of curiosity?
Burbank, California.
So Burbank, that's got a lot of those suburbanite neighborhoods, I remember.
Yeah, in fact, actually, he brings that up, like, you know, like in Frankenweenie and Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, yeah.
You know those little suburban house
Right.
areas?
Oh my god, I never thought about that.
Those are speculations of what his neighborhood used to look like.
And maybe those kid characters are supposed to be like a representation of his childhood in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So little Tim was growing up in Burbank, and he wanted to become a filmmaker.
So he decided to become an animator for Disney.
Wow.
Now at first, they didn't want him because they thought his art style was too creepy and too scary for kids.
Interesting fact, folks, if you look up some of his art designs for the Black Cauldron, they will give you nightmares, let me tell you. Yeah, let's just say becoming an animator in the dark era of Disney was not a good idea.
But actually there are some old sketch arts of actually Jack Skellington from Tim Burton when he was coming up with the concept of The Nightmare Before Christmas way before he decided to...
Become a director?
Yeah.
Well, really?
Yeah.
Alright. So after doing a few short films here and there, like Vincent and stuff like that, he started to get a bit of a reputation, basically.
And then, surprisingly, Disney was like, oh,
Hey,
this guy's good.
Yeah, come back to us, Tim. And it's like, but you fired me last time, right?
Yeah, but we'll pay you a shit ton of money for this.
So, think of it this way. You've just proven that you're a big top talent in the industry now. What are you going to do, pretty much?
Well, you gotta make cult classics.
Now, what cult classic can you make now? Like, didn't he make a story about this?
Yeah, he made like a little story about this.
Like a little book thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
nice.
a little kids book.
Interesting fact, actually, about the kids' book. Guess who we got to narrate at one point?
Christopher Lee.
Yeah, there were talks about possibly getting Christopher back to narrate again, but he was busy at the time, I think. So, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because in the soundtrack, like the soundtrack
Yeah,
CD...
it's Patrick Stewart.
It's Patrick Stewart doing the narrating. So we got like two great Shakespearean actors narrating it.
Yeah, so you could tell like there was like a lot of detail put into this.
So, Disney bought the rights to his story, basically, right? So they can make it into a project, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And to further flesh out the ideals, there was a screenplay written for it by Caroline Thompson, who did a lot of Tim Burton movies, pretty much, including Edward Scissorhands, pretty much. And of course, Burton being Burton got all the people together that would later become kind of like his go-to people in a way.
Exactly.
Like, we got the great Danny Elfman doing the music for this, who at most of this point, people only knew for two things. Hey, wait, aren't you the guy who made the theme song to The Simpsons?
Yeah.
And also that guy from Oingo Boingo.
We've also used actors like Captain O'Hara.
Well, yeah, Captain O'Hara. But strangely enough, it's weird you mentioned Burton actors, because guess who's also in this film, actually? What if I told you Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman's in this film also?
Oh, who do you play in that?
Locke.
Oh, of course you did.
And also, Opho's in the film, apparently.
Who?
Remember? Otho!
Oh.
Yeah, Otho from Beetlejuice is in the movie also.
Oh, who was he in that?
He's the mayor.
Oh, of course.
I mean, looking back now, it kind of makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, speaking of movies, we should probably get into the movie as it is, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we open up the film in some abandoned forest-looking area.
And on each tree in the circle, there's
A door.
And each door leads to a specific holiday.
Okay, time out. Okay, so we've seen Christmas Town and Halloweentown, but I've always been curious, what's behind the other doors?
Well, one of them's a turkey, so that's Thanksgiving.
Oh god, is that just a town where everybody's murdering turkeys everywhere?
Pretty much.
Oh, Jesus. And then there's Valentine's Day's town.
It's probably like a huge soap opera.
Oh god, it's like visiting the Hallmark Channel. And then there's St. Patrick's Day's town. What is that? Just a downtown Boston during St. Patrick's Day?
No, I bet it's a suburb in Ireland.
Yeah, pretty much. I hate to imagine what 4th of July Day is. That's where those assholes that keep firing their fireworks in the air is just around everywhere.
And if you're anybody who owns a dog, you're like, shut the hell up.
Pretty much. No Hanukkah Day for some reason, though.
Christmas movie.
I guess, but doesn't Hanukkah count?
Disney didn't.
Of course. So, we get a little narration, and apparently each of these worlds make the holidays for us, apparently.
Yeah, and when it comes, like, to the day...
They release it into the world?
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty unique.
So, I think what basically happens is, like, in each of their towns, they wait until, like, the days come. They celebrate it in their town, but it gets transferred to, like...
Okay, like an essence or something.
Yeah.
Alright, so, we then go into Halloweentown, and I got to mention, this is like the most Tim Burton-y looking town of all time, pretty much.
Yeah, when you think of, like, one of the most iconic openings in a Tim Burton movie, this is, like, one of them.
We got the cool music, we got the creepy looking town, we got the skeletons and pumpkins and monsters. It's perfect.
And the music is flawless.
Oh, thank God for Danny Elfman, because he nails the music in this one. Honestly, not gonna lie, soundtrack in this movie, favorite Danny Elfman song pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Which is saying something, because honestly, a lot of his work is pretty good.
That's true.
So, we go for the town, we see all the monsters, and it's kind of cool how these monsters are basically just doing this like a job kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
We got the monsters doing their thing. Like I say, we're not mean, but this is just our job pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
And hey, if this song can inspire a very cool Marilyn Manson cover, why not?
I love that cover, it's so cool.
Yeah. But, speaking of cool, let's get introduced to the coolest guy in town now.
That's right.
It's our boy.
Jack Skellington.
Or as I like to call him, the origin of Slender Man, pretty much. Think about it. Suit, pale face, everything.
Tall and thin.
Exactly. Now, Jack is the quote-unquote king, the Pumpkin King, apparently.
And apparently it's some kind of, like, royalty.
Which is weird, because this town has a mayor, but they have a king also?
I like to think that that title is just, like, meaning he's the scariest.
Sort of like the scariest being in the world.
And because of that, like, he literally frightens, like, everybody.
I mean, he is a skeleton, and for the longest time, skeletons were considered the symbol of Halloween in a lot of the areas.
Well, also, skeletons are the symbol of death.
Which makes me wonder, so he's dead, right?
Yeah.
Was he ever something before that?
There have been speculations that he might be Victor Van Dog.
He's Victor?
it's a speculation. We don't know if it's true or not.
It would make
It's
sense.
just a theory.
It's just a theory. I guess he couldn't stay with Emily or Victoria, so he chose Sally instead.
No, he died after the event.
Okay. I like to think that it's just the Grinch with all his skin melted off, like that one thing I saw, pretty much. So, another successful Halloween for Jack in the gang, pretty much.
And the ladies are like literally like crawling all over him.
Man, get your hands on me.
And Sally, she's peering from behind the hanging tree.
Now, the design of Sally is kind of unique. It looks like a ragdoll design, but with a Frankenstein aesthetic, pretty much.
Well, basically Frankenstein is basically a stitched up body.
Okay.
So is a rag doll.
I see. What the heck is her body filled with, though? Is that leaves?
It's leaves.
God damn. If I want to get rid of my leaves, just remind me to call her up. But she's not supposed to be out here, is she?
No, Dr. Finkelstein is her creator. I would also say it's like her dad.
Ugh. Which is weird, because I think he may have made her for a date, perhaps.
No, I don't think he made her for that.
Just a theory. So
basically, he's like, you can't be out here. You're not ready for all this excitement, and you're coming home with me. She's like, fuck no, I'm not. She tears off her arm,
you go, girl.
and she basically runs off.
Well, it kind of helps them when it's a feeble old man trying to chase her in a wheelchair, pretty much.
I don't know. He's pretty strong to hold her back there, though.
Give or take, like, aren't Frankenstein supposed to be like super strong?
Anyways,
So Jack getting overwhelmed by the fanboys, or would that be fanboils and fanboils? Just saying.
then the mayor announces, hold on, we didn't give out the prizes for the evening.
Alright, what prizes we got here?
First prize apparently goes to the most blood drained.
By the vampires.
That's not fucking
They win
fair.
all the time. That's not fair. What is the mosquitoes I'm slacking off or something? And so we don't get to sit through the horror Oscars, which, by the way, they should make that a thing probably.
Totally. So then Jack, he's going,
Yeah, he's sort of not in the mood, is he?
no. And so he goes to the cemetery.
Would be a Tim Burton film about one of those, pretty much.
And Sally, she's in the cemetery too, trying to fix her arm. And when she hears somebody coming, she hides behind the tombstone.
And apparently that's where Jack's dog is, apparently, Zero. Yeah, which I'm like, wait, this dude has a dog?
Why not?
How did that work exactly? I mean, he's made of bone. Wouldn't that dog just try to eat his shit every few minutes?
Well, it's a ghost.
Well, interesting fact, the barks for the dog of Zero was provided by Tim himself, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, that's Tim doing the barks, apparently. Makes sense in hindsight. Yeah. So, why is Jack feeling down?
Well, he's feeling down because they literally do this year after year.
He's sort of getting tired of the monotony, isn't he?
Pretty much.
I was like, dude, how can you be tired of Halloween?
I don't know, man. I didn't think it was possible.
I mean, granted, if I had to be constantly scaring people for like this long, I'd get pretty tired of it too, pretty much.
And he feels like there's something out there. Something that he wants. Something that will fill this crater in his skeleton bones.
Pretty much, yeah.
And so he kind of walks off deeper into the forest beyond the cemetery.
And apparently Sally actually wants to, tell him how she feels and all that.
Yeah.
But come on, girl, you gotta take the leap.
She's
Nervous.
nervous.
Yeah, I bet.
Also, I bet Finkelstein keeps her pretty sheltered, so
Wouldn't even know how to talk to the guy. But thankfully, she just so happened to find some deadly nightshade into the garden.
yeah.
Oh, disclaimer now, deadly nightshade is extremely poisonous. Do not use it for tea. Or soup or whatever.
Yeah, don't ever use it. It's poisonous.
It's super poisonous.
So basically, she grabs a whole bunch of deadly nightshade and goes back home to refill her jar of it.
Pretty much. Oh, before we continue, interesting fact about Sally, she's voiced by our girl Catherine O'Hara, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, it's kind of some sweet seeing her in this because I've only seen her as a sort of like a mom kind of character, pretty much. So seeing her in this role is actually kind of a relief for me, actually.
Yeah, it is.
So, So Sally's hiding the deadly nightshade, and guess who just came back?
Dr. Finkelstein.
Finkelstein. I love that name so much.
And he's like, oh, so you decided to come back? And she's like, well, I had to.
For your arm?
For your arm. So he goes upstairs with Sally and slowly reattaches her arm.
Pretty much.
Apparently she's done this a lot to him.
3 times, apparently.
She's poisoned him 3 times.
Which doesn't make sense because...
Within 1 month.
I know, which doesn't make sense because doesn't it later show that he has an Igor system?
Yes.
Why doesn't he get him to serve him food?
I don't fucking know.
I guess he just really likes Sally's cooking skills, I guess.
Even though she poisons him.
Must be worth it. So, yeah, he does the whole, it's a phase, my dear, shtick.
It's not a phase, Dad.
Speaking of which, let's then get back to the symbol of Hot Topic, Jack in the middle of the forest, pretty much.
Really, Tom?
I had to bring it up.
I take offense to that.
I'm sorry, I'm contractually obligated to do that. So, we get back to Jack, and he's in the middle of the forest.
And Zero wants to play.
It's a dog for him. Don't get any ideas, Molly.
So he decides to literally throw him a bone.
Give the dog a bone. Knick-knack, paddywhack.
He literally throws him a rib.
He throws him a piece of his ribs. Yeah.
I love the design on Zero, by the way.
It's like a napkin sheet with a dog's head on it?
No, it's more like if you took a balloon, put a white blanket over on top of it with a dog collar, put some black eyes and a snout on it.
And actually, the design on Zero is kind of weird too, because everyone else is pretty much like claymated, pretty much, and all that. But Zero looks like he's like a little bit of claymation and CG, actually.
A little bit.
Which was weird, because when this film came out, CG was kind of in its infancy, so they didn't really use it a whole lot, pretty much. But I'm kind of glad they did, because that way it gives more of a ghostly, ethereal form, pretty much.
Also, his nose is just so cute. Look at it.
It's a little pumpkin on his nose.
It's literally a jack-o'-lantern.
So we cut to the next morning, and the mayor is going to get Jack to look over some new plans for next Halloween.
And he gets nervous because Jack's not answering the door.
I was like, Jack, come on, I'm only a public official. I can't make decisions by myself. Wait a second. A two-faced politician. I think I'm sensing some symbolism here. And yeah, we then cut to Jack, and apparently he's been walking all night, apparently.
I think somehow he fell asleep and
Sleepwalking.
Sleepwalked.
Okay. I mean, I suppose it happens to giant skeleton men. So, Jack's been sleepwalking all night, and now he's in a completely new area.
An area that he's never been before.
Actually, I'm surprised that he's the first ever been here. Like, wouldn't there be like other people that have checked it out, pretty much?
I got a feeling that nobody's really known about this place, though.
Or are they so content that they just don't bother, pretty much?
Yeah.
So, we get to what I'm gonna call the portal trees, pretty much. And he sees all the doors.
But the one that's caught his eye the most is the Christmas door.
And I can just say it because look how shiny that is.
Well, when you think of the symbolism of Christmas, you think of a Christmas tree.
Pretty much.
It's literally the first thing that comes to my mind is a bright, shiny Christmas tree filled with decorations and lights.
You gotta feel bad for the other trees. They're like, oh, come on, can't you just check us out? And Christmas is getting all the attention because it's the most shiny ones. Like, oh, come on.
Well, Christmas is also one of the more popular holidays.
I mean, they got a whole shit going on with that, pretty much.
Yeah, let's not go there.
So
anyways, he opens the door. So far, nothing. And suddenly some snowflakes come and grab a hold of him and pull him in.
I thought that was supposed to be like a cold breeze or something like that.
I like to think it's snowflakes with a bit of a cold breeze, like literally pulling him in.
Like the north wind or something like that.
Sort of.
So he goes down a freaking acid trip with snowflakes, pretty much. And he ends up in
Christmas Town.
Must be somewhere in the Yukon. It's Canada, up north. So he's in Christmas Town, and boy is he really excited about this place.
He looks around. He has a song.
Oh, now for those who don't know, The singing voice was provided by
Danny Elfman.
Elfman, but the speaking voice was provided by Jerry the Vampire himself, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, the scenes where we see him talking, you can just imagine Prince Humperdinck, and the scenes where he's singing, it's the guy that gave us the theme song to Creepshow.
Well, also, Danny Elfman voices another character in this.
Oh yeah, he voices one of the kids as well.
Beryl.
Yeah, and Catherine O'Hara does the girl one, right?
Shock.
Of course. Why not?
Anyways.
So,
he looks around the town, he's so excited, he wants to know what is this place.
what is this?
And he bumps into a gigantic candy cane pole.
I mean, would you expect anything else in this place?
And he reads the sign.
Christmas town.
And then he looks to the side and he sees the shadow of Santa Claus.
You gotta admit, Santa Claus in this is pretty jolly, pretty much.
That's the point.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's Santa.
Of course it's Santa.
So, we cut back to Halloweentown. Everyone's freaking out because Jack's gone.
Can they not, get a Halloween council going on? Like, in case somebody has to leave for a case of absence, they make decisions as a jury council?
But that's the thing, they've never left before.
Pretty much, yeah. So, they just swing around. They had to even sound the cat alarm, pretty much.
You can stop.
Sorry. And once again, Sally manages to poison her creator, pretty much.
Yep.
And she even
That's
has,
the fourth time now.
and apparently she has one of those little joke spoons.
I think she actually took a wooden spoon and
carved
carved
holes.
holes in the bottom.
Wait, they.
Yeah, don't ask.
Then again, what kind of soup is that supposed to be? It's worms, wart, and frog's breath combined? How does that work? Do worms even have warts?
I really don't want to know.
And I hate to imagine what frog's breath smells like.
Well, as you can see from the thing, it's very stinky.
Yes. But before all that happens, we then get to see Jack arrive in town.
And he's got a whole bunch of stuff with him, and he calls for a town meeting.
Did he literally steal all that stuff from Christmas Town and nobody noticed?
Yep.
Nobody noticed the friggin' skeleton man walking around?
Apparently not.
So, town meeting now. And he's basically trying to explain what Christmas is to everyone, but it's kind of like where you're trying to explain a film you just saw to your friend, but they don't know anything about it pretty much. So it's like,
Yeah.
no, it's seriously, it's the coolest thing ever. It's like, what's it about again?
And they're not really convinced.
I mean, how do you convince somebody of something new?
Well, the point is that they do get excited because then he mentions Santa Claus.
Or Sandy Claus.
Sandy Claus.
They make him sound like basically Krampus in a way. No, think about it. Giant red being, giant claws. Just add some horns, it'll be red as well, pretty much.
Anyways. So, after the meeting, he's backstage and he's like,
Well,
they're excited, but they don't really understand.
yeah, but Jack, neither do you, technically.
So, he decides to do a bit of research in his house.
He reads all the books that I'm pretty sure were used to basically, research for this role. Think about it. This has elements of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, The Night Before Christmas, Christmas Carol, all those stories, pretty much.
That's the point.
Exactly.
And he's got all his decorations up. He's got a skeletal tree.
Can we take a moment to talk about the art design of this film, pretty much?
Yes.
So the art design of this film, I actually kind of think is really spectacular. It matches both genres of Christmas and Halloween pretty well with the art design, pretty much.
Oh, absolutely.
We got the eerie, dark colors with the Halloween stuff, and the more lighter, more sort of childlike wonderment of the Christmas colors. And I think it clashes really nicely, actually. It's kind of like peanut butter and chocolate, almost. Or ketchup and soy sauce. Apparently it's very good, I've been told.
You don't even like ketchup.
You don't like soy sauce. Alright. So, Jack is frustrated and he doesn't know what to do with it, pretty much.
But then he finds another book, which is Scientific Logic.
Or the scientific method or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, you're gonna try scientific Christmas? Should we tell him that probably an uphill battle?
No, that's not good.
Speaking of uphill battles, apparently once again Sally's been caught. And she's put into her
room
and everything.
And Jack comes to see Dr. Finkelstein.
To collect some experimenting equipment or something like that?
Yes.
Alright, so he comes home and he's gonna do a whole whack of experiments on it.
And each one he does doesn't really end well.
I think he crushes one of those hollyberry things or
I
something.
think they're called gooseberries.
Yeah, pretty much he crushes one of those.
Oh, by the way, don't eat those either.
They're also poisonous. A lot of poisonous stuff in this movie so far. I mean, I guess that's the point.
Yeah, I know, right?
He tries to... I think he puts like a candy cane in a little Bunsen burner thingy.
No, it looks like electrified water.
Unfortunately, though, it takes off all the stripes off of it.
And makes it kind of like a lip noodle.
Resist the urge to make a dick joke.
I'm not gonna go there.
And then we cut to him, well, literally, trying to cut a snowflake.
Well, he tries to do a paper thing with, like, you know how if you cut in certain places you make the...
I could never do that.
I could never do it either. It's a pain in the ass.
Every time I try to do that, it looked like something that Wolverine would have done, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Hey.
So he cuts it, he thinks he's got a snowflake, but nope, it's a spider.
I mean, did you expect anything else?
He literally cuts open a teddy bear and looks at its fluffing.
Yeah, be thankful it's just fluffing. Back in the old days, they would have put asbestos in there, pretty much.
He crushes a Christmas ornament in some water, and it literally turns into what I can assume is a glowing light.
So, is this a regular ornament, or is this like one of those Christmas-fied ones?
I don't know.
And apparently all this kerfuffle has caught Sally's attention, pretty much.
So in her room, she's still like locked up, but she makes him a little picnic basket.
Yep, and she lowers it down with some spindle and thread, pretty much.
Yep, and then she literally tosses herself out the window.
I guess it ain't suicide if you're already dead, pretty much.
Pretty much. And when she lands and she opens her eyes, she picks up a needle that she stored right behind her ear.
It's got hurt.
If you're dead.
I guess, yeah.
And she sews her back to her old self again.
Them legs, though. I'm sorry.
And then she walks off to go find Jack. And Dr. Finkelstein opens the door and discovers that she's gone again.
Honestly, dude, you really need to update your security in this place. Is it just me?
And then Jack, he's still doing his methods.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's at the chalkboard and he's trying to do the conclusion.
I love the fact on the chalkboard, if you look really closely, if you look at where he puts Sandy Claus in his equation, it's Sandy and then a picture of Crab Claus.
I know.
So I guess you could say he has big, meaty claws. Pretty much.
And then he hears a tap at his window.
Man, she must have a hell of an arm to throw a brick up there or something like that. Or was that a little rock or something?
No, the basket.
Oh, right, the basket. Shit, sorry, I forgot about that.
Anyways, he opens the window, looks down, and he sees that it's Sally. He takes the basket, looks inside. It's literally just a fish bone.
It's not even a fish, it's just a fish skeleton.
What? Wait, does he eat bones?
Or does he, like, suck out the marrow from them?
Ooh,
I mean, he's already dead and a skeleton, so how does he eat?
I don't know. Anyways,
He
and then
opens
he
up a
opens
little-
the bottle, and it's a little butterfly.
Of course it is.
He goes down,
To thank her and everything.
he looks out the window again to thank her, but she's gone.
And then she's outside picking, like, what looks to be like some sort of dead flower thing.
Yeah. But then it suddenly transforms into a little Christmas tree, and then bursts into flame. Okay, this is totally Christmas coming, folks.
Which is weird because, like, how does she do that? How does she have her prediction and stuff?
I don't know.
There was something that you mentioned, maybe. So we can clearly establish that all these body parts that make up Sally was a person at one point, right?
Yeah.
But who was the person?
Well, people have speculated that Sally's a witch in her previous life.
You mean she was like a witch that was maybe hanged or something like that?
I don't know if she was hung.
I'm just saying because that's the usual method they would have killed witches or burned them at the stake or something like that.
I think they actually did more, they did more hangings than they did actual burns.
Yeah, pretty expensive.
And it was much more faster and quicker to kill somebody than me.
That could possibly explain her prediction stunt powers, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's the next morning when we see a skeleton rooster. Okay.
And everybody in town is worried because he's been up there for days.
The vampires get out of the sunlight. The werewolf apparently is okay in the sunlight.
I think it's a permanent.
Crap, it's permanent werewolfism.
Yep.
And they even say stuff like, he never says a word, hope he hasn't died. Isn't he already dead?
Anyway, Tom, don't think too much about it.
I wanted to mention one thing though, I noticed with that zombie lady and her son.
She's literally have him on a leash.
Pretty much.
Like, and he's got like a collar like on his neck and everything.
I don't think it's on his neck, I think it's like attached to his back or something.
No.
Oh, it is on his neck, alright.
It is on his neck.
Don't worry, Tim will later use that design for Frankenweenie, I'm pretty sure.
Anyways. So Jack's upstairs, and he's still trying to come up with a conclusion.
When we see Jack in his, sort of like his, is it like an apartment, kind of?
I'd say that, I guess. I think it's like his main house, though.
Pretty much, and he's basically just got all this stuff. It's kind of like those people that have those walls where they're trying to find a conclusion, but they're acting crazy and stuff like that, pretty much.
Yeah.
But then he suddenly has a eureka moment, pretty much.
He said, if I can't
show Christmas,
show Christmas, I can at least do it, and even maybe even improve it.
oh boy, culture appropriation for the win, pretty much.
So then he claims out to the people below that Christmas will be theirs this year.
Which is weird, because in the book version, it was a little more selfish. Like, he was jealous almost of Santa Claus in a way, for all the praise he got.
Yeah, but in this version, he
just is a little misguided and makes office decisions, pretty much.
Yeah.
Probably the best idea. So, that's gonna be a hell of a thing for the town also to do. They're like, we had to wait like 365 days to get ready for Halloween.
364.
Just smartness. And now they got to basically cut their schedule in half to get ready for Christmas now, pretty much.
Which is like 2 months away.
Pretty much. I'm like, God damn, dude. That's like a whole whack of workload you just put on us.
But everybody's lined up at the mayor's
house to get jobs, basically, in a way, right?
Yeah.
To basically give a Halloween spin on Christmas somewhere.
The vampires get charge of a baby doll.
What kind of noise is that for a baby to make? I'm sorry, my dude. What noise is a baby supposed to make?
Crying, wailing, screaming.
Yeah, I guess. And then we cut to Dr. Finkelstein, and he's gonna get the duty of making reindeer, apparently.
Yeah.
Like legit flying reindeer and everything.
And then we get to see Lock, Shock,
And Bear.
which are Boogie's boys.
Yeah, man. Oogie Boogie is kind of like a mafia don in this area, pretty much.
I think it's actually a little more horrific than that.
I guess.
He literally eats everybody in town.
Kind of. It's even implied that, remember in the beginning of this movie we saw his shadow on the moon and everything like that? I think it's implied that he basically feeds on people's fear in a way, like a proper boogeyman should do.
Yeah.
But apparently Jack thinks it's a good idea to give these little bozos the most important job, pretty much.
Which is kidnapping Sandy Claus.
Oh boy. And of course, being the little shits that they are,
They're gonna backstab Jack and give Sandy Claus to the Oogie Boogie Man.
fuckers, aren't they?
Shits.
I know.
And then Sally comes and she tries to tell him that this isn't a good idea and that I've had a premonition that this is not gonna end well.
But Jack, being him, just doesn't listen, apparently.
Yep.
Damn,
Instead,
dude.
he gives her the charge of creating his Santa Claus outfit.
Oh boy.
And then we kind of have like a little montage where...
Oh, before we get to the montage, those little bastards come back pretty much with a new thing.
Oh yeah, they think that they got Sandy Claus, but in fact it's the Easter Bunny.
Oh man, wait, you're not the Easter Bunny. You don't look anything like Hugh Jackman.
You're too pink and fluffy.
I mean, I'm saying, if they did a crossover between Rise of the Guardians and this film, I wouldn't be surprised.
Anyways, Jack's pissed because he's like, you went through the wrong goddamn door.
Well, maybe beat you black and green now. How does that work?
So basically, he gives them a bit of a spook to say, don't fuck up.
And then they take the bunny back and everything, and now they have the montage.
Where everybody's preparing
For Christmas. Man, they're really down to do this, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a lot of things going on. I like the fact that giant snake thing looks kind of like those sandworms from, Beetlejuice in a way.
Maybe this is what they look like when they were young infants.
Yeah, they look orange and then they turn white later, pretty much.
Like they shed their scales and they turn like white and black.
Pretty much. And sandworms. You hate them, don't you? I hate them myself.
Anyways.
Everything's getting ready, but there's still one thing they need. And that's where we get the kidnap of Santa Claus.
And Santa Claus is going over his list.
He's got really tiny hands, I must admit, also. I mean, seriously, they're like tinier than his body, pretty much.
Anyways.
So he gets kidnapped. Apparently Mrs. Claus didn't hear him scream or anything like that. Alright.
Anyways, so he's brought back to Halloweentown where...
Well, pretty much he's being cornered by these monsters, pretty much.
Yeah. He has no idea what the fuck's going on.
And then this weird skeleton dude just takes his hat and everything, pretty much.
He basically says, yeah, don't worry about Christmas this year, we got it.
Yeah, take a break, man. But dude, I only get like one job a year, come on.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
And then the little bastard kids.
They're demon children, let me tell you.
Well, literally one of them is.
I guess. And anyways, they take him to Oogie Boogie.
And they try shoving him down the chute.
Have you heard of goodwill towards old men now? No! Pretty much, they
But
shove him.
literally, one of them is poking him with a fucking pitchfork.
Ooh,
Barrel, you little shit.
I'm gonna use a quote from Futurama. I'm gonna shove so much coal down your stocking, you're gonna be coughing up diamonds. Pretty much. So, he shoved down the giant tube thingy, and then we get Vegas music. I mean, when I think of Boogeyman, I don't think of a jazzy kind of thing, but I'm kind of glad they do it in this case.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool, and it's kind of got a creative casino-looking setting going on.
And it gives it a more creepier atmosphere.
Considering that he literally likes to play games with his food before he eats them.
Pretty much. He likes playing with his food.
God damn it, dude, didn't your mom tell you not to play with your food?
Anyways.
So Sally's pretty much not convinced that this is going to be a good idea, pretty much.
So she goes up to her room where she hid under the floorboard some fog juice.
Fog juice. I'm pretty sure I had some of that one time and it fucked me up.
And we see Dr. Finkelstein in his lab. He's making a new monster.
Basically a female version of him. Ugh.
He's basically doing himself.
So I guess that's sort of like extreme masturbation.
Or narcissism.
That too. So everybody's ready for Christmas pretty much. And are the elves seriously not like panicking that Santa Claus has disappeared and all?
Apparently the elves don't really do shit in this one.
God damn, I hate to imagine what kind of their pay is pretty much.
Next to nothing.
They get paid in candy canes, I bet.
Anyways.
So Jack is ready to go out and spread Christmas cheer and all that. But the fog juice is doing its job and, well, bringing a fog.
As thick as jelly brains.
But thicker. I don't even want to know what that's like.
Me either.
So, if only we had an ex machina in the form of a dog with a bright nose that could... Oh, hello, Zero.
Yeah, Zero decides to lead the sleigh as a Rudolph.
I knew it. Yeah, so he's off. Everybody's happy and cheering, except Sally.
Because she's extremely worried for Jack.
Yeah, I get the feeling like she actually tries to care for Jack, not like just praise him pretty much, but like care about him as a person pretty much.
Yeah, that's the difference besides everybody else in the town.
They just worship him pretty much, but they don't actually sort of care about him as a whole pretty much.
Exactly.
And we also get a cameo from the cat from Coraline pretty much. I mean, it makes sense, it is directed by the same dude. Yeah, the common misconception about this movie is that Tim Burton didn't direct this film technically, which is correct. He only provided the story, but he did produce it.
And it pretty much is his work.
I know.
But, yes, it was directed by Henry Selick.
Yeah, Henry Selick. Which, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, if you were the producer and the writer, that's a lot of jobs. You need someone to help with all that, pretty much.
Exactly.
Okay, so, Jack's in the sky. He's going to some generic little town. I don't know where this is.
And he crashes into the roof, and we see a hanging angel.
That's kind of funny, actually.
And he doesn't have trouble going down the chimney because he's just skin and bone.
I mean, just saying, it would be pretty easy for him. I just feel bad for the people's house insurance. I mean, their roof is fucked because of them. So this
He
little
literally
kid.
scares the pants off this kid.
Well, how would you feel if you went to see Santa and you saw this fucking thing staring at you?
And then he gives him a present and leaves. And his
Oh,
parents comes down and they ask, what did you get
From Santa?
from Santa this year? It's a shrunken head.
That's just perfect. That's perfect.
That is perfect.
What other gifts do we see him giving around? We see him give a wreath that strangles an old lady,
Oh, was about to strangle an old lady.
pretty much.
We see the sandworm baby eat a Christmas tree.
God damn.
Damn it, no, bad sandworm.
You don't eat the tree. Bam. You do that outside.
And then we see the most iconic, like, toys in the
In the movie.
the possessed teddy bear,
The vampire
bear, and the vampire duck.
And also, we see some bats coming out of a Christmas tree and everything like that.
Yeah.
Damn. These kids are gonna be scarred for life afterwards.
Yeah, after this, I wouldn't want to celebrate Christmas ever.
Yeah, that's my reaction when Sam's like, Santa, where's he? Pretty much.
So everybody's scared and literally blocking every door, window, and chimney.
One dude literally just turns up his fire like, isn't Jack already dead? That probably wouldn't hurt him, probably. So, everybody is, they're like, where is the real Santa Claus? Let's call in the army to deal with this guy.
And everybody at home can see this because they're watching from TV Cauldron.
TV caller.
So Sally's worried and she decides to go looking for Santa Claus.
And Oogie is once again playing dice with him, pretty much.
But it doesn't matter because lovely, lovely legs.
She goddamn legs, though.
Legs for days.
Or at least as much as you can stitch on, pretty much. And her hands basically do all the work and save Santa Claus, pretty much.
But before they could try to escape...
Well, Oogie apparently has the ability to turn into a vacuum cleaner. Ugh. But while that's going on, Jack's in the sky and is like, hey, they're celebrating us. Look at those little pretty fireworks that don't at all look like missiles.
And unfortunately, they shoot him out of the sky. And he lands in a graveyard.
And everybody in town thinks he's dead, pretty much.
Pretty much. So the mayor goes around in his
Car jalopy thingy.
and basically spreads the news that Jack's gone.
And kids are now upset because they think that Santa is pretty much gone and they had to cancel Christmas.
Kind of like today.
Yeah, basically. It's Christmas 2020, basically, all over again. So, Jack is in the graveyard, but he's not dead because, like I say, he's already dead. Can't really kill him.
I will say this though, his jaw came off.
Yes, I mean, you would come off too if you fell that far down. So, Jack kind of realizes what he's done, pretty much.
And he's feeling sorry for himself, but then he realized, wait, no, this was a great learning experience for me.
Yeah, for you, maybe. You terrified a bunch of children, dude.
Anyways.
Alright.
So, he becomes basically like himself again, and then he realizes, oh shit, Santa Claus.
Oh boy, Santa's gonna get his lawyer after this. Hopefully he's not gonna press any charges against you, Jack. So,
Meanwhile, back at
Oogie's place, Oogie's once again playing dice like, just kill them, dude, come on.
and Sally makes a threat saying, just wait until Jack shows up, and then the mayor literally just
Pops out of nowhere.
drives by and shares the news.
And then he's about to kill him, but he's got, what? Snake eyes?
I love those dice, by the way, they're really cool.
They are pretty cool. And so, it looks like it's in the end for Sandy and Sally, pretty much.
Yeah.
But then, who should appear?
Boom.
Hello, Loki.
And then they duke it out.
And by duke it out, he presses a little lever that has these weird playing cards playing swords around.
And also the 8-ball.
Oh yeah, the 8-ball, right. And those cowboys that shoot guns at them and a giant saw and everything.
Yeah.
God damn, he really home alone this place. Catherine O'Hara should be proud of her son Kevin in this. Oh wait, that's not the right movie. Sorry.
Anyway, so he's trying to get away on his magic 8-ball.
But apparently he doesn't realize he's got a little thread hanging off of this thing. I gotta admit, the design for Oogie Boogie is kind of weird. It kind of looks like a burlap sack that came to life, pretty much.
That's filled with bugs.
Yeah, because when Jack pulls the little thread, it shows all the bugs that he's eaten, pretty much.
That's disgusting.
And the last bug gets squashed by Sandy, pretty much.
And then Jack's like, hurt feelings? And he's like, fuck off.
It's like, I'll see you in court, Mr. Skeleton. Along with Tim Allen, also.
It doesn't really happen, but still.
I hope not, because damn. You, like, kidnapped Santa Claus and terrified all his customers, pretty much, man.
Or at least a dozen of them.
I gotta admit that the Santa actor in this one is a little grumpy for me, for Santa, but I'd be grumpy too if I was kidnapped by Jack Skellington.
Pretty much. So then Jack asks Sally, what were you doing down here? And then she's like, well, I was just trying.
Oh, I see what you're doing, girl.
So then Jack realizes that she's got the hots for him.
And then, out of nowhere, the mayor just pops out of nowhere, again.
Because those devil kids betray Oogie.
Remind me to strangle those little fuckers later.
Not strangling them, or drown them.
And then Santa Claus, which is at lightning speed and is basically solving all the problems that Jack did, pretty much.
Even the lady who's doing the
newscasting was like,
oh, you gave her a fruit cake.
come on, Sandy, you couldn't give her anything else. You gotta give her a fruit cake.
I would have just accepted a candy cane, thanks.
God damn it, fruitcakes suck. So he comes back to town and everybody's happy that he's alive, basically.
And then they look up to the sky and they see Santa Claus wishing them a happy Halloween.
And he says, Merry Christmas. Personally, I think Santa Claus is just cursing them with eternal winter, pretty much.
No.
Alright. And now, everybody seems to be asking, what's this?
Yeah, because it's their first snowfall.
Which makes me wonder, does this area, like, ever get snow?
No.
God damn.
It's constantly
It's
fall.
constantly autumn. My kind of place, actually.
Hey, it's not too cold, it's not too warm, it's just right temperature.
And I get to wear my cool coats and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's having their thing, but Jack realizes that Dr. Fameslime's got him a new squeeze, basically. Another duck lip looking horn.
It literally looks like him.
Ah.
It's really messed up. But then he notices Sally's gone. And he goes to go find her. And she's up on top of the hill in the graveyard.
By the way, cool ass looking hill, by the way.
Oh yeah, totally. I love this shot.
Yeah.
And then they have
So like a reprise.
the reviews of their song.
Yeah.
And they have this.
How would sex between them work, you wonder? I'm gonna assume he doesn't have a penis, pretty much. And she's got the Frankengina thing going on.
I don't want to think about it, Tom.
Well, I
Because
do.
in the book they have kids.
How?
Probably had to go to Finkelstein.
Yeah, apparently they have kids. Who knew?
Yeah, skeletal kids.
And that's the movie. But there's something that still bugs me, Claire.
What?
Why is it that people love this movie?
Well,
Could it be that because it's so simple?
it's a simple story, but it has a lot that packs into it.
I suppose you're right.
It's not also just the story, it's the art designs, it's the characters, it's the songs, it's the writing, it's everything about this film.
Could it be that it packs both the heartwarming feelings of Christmas with the sort of dark gothic tones of Halloween into a perfect blend?
Exactly. And with the grotesque and German expressionisms that Tim is famous for, it just makes it so much better to watch. So even if you're not a fan of either Christmas or Halloween, you can watch this and understand.
You know, think I understand why people love this movie now. Well, I suppose we ought to give our little thing now. What would you rate this film?
Well, since this is one of my favorite films of all time, this is getting a definite 10 out of 10. I love everything about this film, even the silly plot holes. I wouldn't change it for the world. I love it.
I like to say, yeah, I'm a bit of a stickler with the plot holes myself. Sometimes they don't make sense. I think the writing could use a little work. But hey, it could have been worse. I heard they were planning on making a sequel to this, apparently. In 3D.
Oh god.
Which I'm glad they haven't. So I have to give this an 8 out of 10 for me. So like I say, folks, if you want a good Halloween or good Christmas film to watch, put in this film, pretty much. So, thank you for seeing our video. And don't forget to like and subscribe and to hit the bell for notifications.
And if you want to check us out, go to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
And of course, if you want to see any more of our videos, you can check us out on Worldwood Studios or at Silversmith Productions. And if you want, you can leave some comments in the comment section below and think of some other films we can do for either Halloween or Christmas. And other than that, well, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
And later, Merry Christmas. Speaking of which, we ought to get some Christmas movies done. Let's go.